The Fallout series is easily one of the most heavy-hitter titles in gaming, especially among role-playing games and open-world games, with its post-apocalyptic setting, nihilistic tone, diverse characters and factions, and all with deep history and lore. Up there with titles like Skyrim, GTA, and Red Dead Redemption, Fallout New Vegas sits at spot number 45 on the IGN Top 100 list. For those who don't know about that list, that's the equivalent to the IMDb Top 100 list for video games. But why do people so obsessed with it? Why do they put thousands of hours into it? Why is it so captivating? Let's just do a little backstory on the story. It's pretty basic, but that doesn't matter much. Um, for a lot of the fans of this game, they don't really care. So you start off as a courier, which is basically a mail delivery person. You have no really defined background, just a regular person tasked with delivering a package. But then complications arise when you have to deliver a shady package. Now you start off uh, basically trying to find the people that left you for dead after you try to deliver this package. So why is it so amazing? Why are people so obsessed with it? Well, critics will argue it's an incredibly huge and detailed open world with loads of stuff to do, major amount of side quests, uh, branches of side quests to do aside from the main story that are actually more take longer than the main story does. A great atmosphere. It's a post-apocalyptic atmosphere. You have all your choices have consequences, and we'll touch on this about morals later. It does have some occasional glitches, but what makes an ideal video game, I guess, is the main question. So McLuhan says, if you overemphasize form at the expense of content, you are a sophist, and there is no depth to the story. If you overemphasize content at the expense of form, you are stoic, and there is no beauty. The key is to find the golden mean between form and content. But does more content equal a better game, or does more beauty, control, and quality of life improvements equal a better game? How about both? That's exactly what Fallout New Vegas brings to the table. So the product launch was great, excellent. When it came out, it got amazing raging reviews. Like I said, it sat on a top spot, and it has amazing replayability, which is why so many people put thousands of hours into it. So the form constrains the content. We talked about this in class. The form chooses what you see and don't see. The great thing about Fallout New Vegas is the fact that the form was created to give the players opportunities to decide what you see and you don't see. You can be a moral or immoral person, but if you're immoral, you'll see the repercussions for your actions. People love choices. Like Dr. Bonanno said, technology is made to put you in control. So technology is an extension of us, and people love to see themselves in the technology, and this is exactly what a role-playing game should do. Um, so why else would role-playing games be so popular as a genre? Because people love to be the person, the character. Um, but media is also biased to space and time, as McLuhan argues. Fallout New Vegas is biased towards time, just as writing on rock is biased towards time. It is timeless. It took a long time to develop all of the intricacies in this game. Unlike games that like Call of Duty, which are rebranded every year with a different skin and don't really, they're kind of like the paper equivalent, if we're keeping the rock analogy, of writing on a piece of paper and then the next year it crinkles up and is soiled. But the rock withstands. It stays with time. Fallout New Vegas is replayable and cannot be replicated without extreme difficulty. So, Pius XII in Section 2, Part 1 of the Ideal Film says, since the moving picture, as has been noted, can incline the soul of the viewer to good or to evil, we will call ideally only that film which not only does not offend what we have just described, but treats it respectfully, even that it is not enough. Rather, we should say, that which strengthens his conviction that he can overcome obstacles and avoid erroneous solutions, that he can rise after every fall and return to the right path, that he can, in short, go from good to better through the use of his freedom and his faculties. This game is excellent at this. It shows all the repercussions for bad actions. You can do bad actions, which is kind of realistic in all honesty, and which is why a lot of people like role-playing games, but it shows you how it rewards you for your good actions, and it uh, creates hostilities towards you if you have bad actions. Alrighty, Marshall McLuhan says the automobile is an extension of the popular desire for speed, the desire for an individual's independence of time and space constraints. This is just to compare, similar to how Fallout New Vegas is an extension of the whole sensorium of a person. The automobile is an extension of your legs, while Fallout New Vegas is an extension of the whole sensorium, the role playing, especially in this genre. This is extremely evident. You are supposed to be the character. The question is, can you effectively play another role in this game? Do you feel that your sensorium is pulled in to this character? Yes, this game is excellent at drawing you into the world, especially with the convincing uh, the convincing conversations with everybody that you encounter. And McLuhan also says on page 101, the car transports man faster than his feet. Radio provides instant information. So again, this is just another example of how we can compare how the form, or the efficient cause, I'm sorry, not the form, this is the efficient cause of the car transporting man, radio providing information faster or better than you could otherwise get. Similar to how Fallout New Vegas gives you a open world role playing easier than you could just get in reality, and there's not as it's a lot easier to be pulled in than to actually do all these things in real life. So McLuhan on page 101, just drawing off that, says, we instinctively asked, what is the content of this radio program, for example, or video game? That's what we think is the message, the direct and obvious effect of the radio, which we believe to be the most important thing. However, the content isn't the message. He says the median is the message. The real message is all the secondary effects produced by the services and disservices that the medium demands. The formal cause is the secondary effect. So what is the formal cause in Fallout New Vegas? It is definitely the open world genre, all of gaming as an industry. But what is it trying to convey? What is the message behind it? Well, some would argue it's just to be lazy, but I would argue it's similar to that of an ideal film, as Pope Pius says on section 2, part 2 of the ideal film. So it is the point to recall to mind the concept of the ideal, that which lacks nothing of which it ought to have, but which, on the contrary, possesses this to a perfect degree, in so far as the film, or game in this case, has reference to man. It will be ideal in content to the extent that in perfect and harmonious form, which is important, the form is also excellent, it measures up to the original and essential beauties of man himself. Basically, those three demands are truth, goodness, and beauty. Now, I would argue Fallout New Vegas possesses all three. Beauty not in the visuals, but in the storyline. Alrighty, and Pope Pius the 12th also says, even the sacred books. Some might argue that Fallout New Vegas also has very immoral behavior portrayed. And yes, it does at some point, but it doesn't necessarily condone it. Pope Pius the 12th in the ideal film, section 2, part 3 says, even the sacred books of the Old and New Testament, faithful mirrors of real life, contain in their pages stories of evil, of its action and influence in the lives of individuals, as well as in families and people. Fallout New Vegas portrays the Las Vegas Strip and some of the disturbing behind-the-scenes parts, for example, prostitution, gambling, but it doesn't condone it. It shames it. In fact, every time it's portrayed, it's vilified.